Hello everyone. Sorry for that. Probably you didn't hear me. Uh, Thank you for being here. Welcome to my stream. Let's see, did I make that work? Is it on this one too? Yep. This one's here. This one's here. Let's go for this one. There you go. Alright. Well, yeah. Anyhow. Down, 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 down. Okay. Hopefully you can hear me. Please feel free to let me know in the comments if you can hear me well. Alright, let's get to it. So, I've been doing this streams for some time now. Like right now, I'm at number 18. So, if you're here, thank you for joining. Basically, I've been doing a drawing uh, each of the streams, a different drawing. And because I started a new sketch, I just decided to like take suggestions. Oh, thank you. Thank you, man. Right. Thanks. Thank you very much. Uh, all right. So, I've been taking suggestions on the comments of my videos as I did previously on another sketch I had. So, yeah, let's see how this goes. Somebody mentioned in one of my videos that I should probably try to draw cats. So, actually, two people suggested that. So, that's what I'm gonna be trying to do today. It's not a cat, like a house cat, but I really, yeah, I just took my creative liberty and went with it. I actually like this picture a lot. This one's really fun too. Hopefully you can see it there. Yeah, so I'm probably gonna go for this one right here. And yeah, I mean using Sharpie, a pen, and sometimes like regular Sharpies or this type of highlighters. And I would say the most expensive stuff I used is this Posca markers that I mentioned that there can be more on the expensive side, but it's not you're not, if you get one or two you're not gonna break the bank, so I think they're fine. So something to consider there. Anyhow, let's get to it. Just talking too much. I I think I talk too much during the start of these things. I'm also getting used to streaming, so bear with me. Actually, naturally an introverted person, I believe. Maybe at some point I was more extroverted, but yeah, not all the time. Alright, so I'm gonna go with this picture, even though the other one also has. Oh, I also got this reference. It's pretty cool. This one has a lot of character, right? Like it's really interesting. Like yawning. Um, nah, this one's is better. So if you want to check out the reference for yourself, this was taken by Donnie Ray, and you can find the image in Unsplash if you haven't. It's a really cool website that you can get uh, images, illustrations, and certain uh, resources for a commercial work. And they have part of it is for free, part of it is paid. I'm not sponsored or anything. I just use their services. So uh, let's get to it. I already talked enough. There we go. Lock the camera. So I try to block out the drawing first. That's usually what I do in the beginning. I'm using just a regular pen. This is really cheap, a really cheap pen. So you're not gonna break the bank if you try to do something like this. Uh, Plush Tunes. Hi. Can you do a picture? Uh, like the jungle in the back? Yeah, I could. uh, and just like I, what I'm doing is I taking suggestions, and every day I try to. That's what I was doing previously. I choose one and then I go with the idea and make it into a drawing. So uh, actually, it was yeah, no worries. It was kind of successful in on one of the platforms where I have social media. I don't want to say names because then the algorithms start to mess with your account, and it's already kind of uh, like messy. So I don't want to mess it up even more. Uh, but yeah, if you go into one of my accounts, I have a video that got like to a million views. Uh, just I was just taking suggestions of drawings from people, and yeah, that was something that people really enjoyed. So, uh, yeah, if you have any suggestions, you can let me know, and I'll take it into account and probably make it into a drawing if I choose the idea. Uh, I'm also thinking of other ways to do this. I thought the thing is, if I do it, how to go? We'll be sure to. Yeah, no worries, no worries. Yeah, feel free to join at any point. It's just to hang out and draw. So also, if you have any of the people they're watching my stream have any questions about drawing or how to approach any of this stuff, feel free to let me know. I think my dog is like dreaming or something. Like he's like moving his paws while asleep. He does that sometimes. He also barks sometimes when he's sleeping. or really mildly. It's kind of funny. I think I already, well, just doing like an automatic drawing. Sometimes you just have to turn off your brain to do this fluidly. It's weird, but often your brain gets in the way of what you're doing. Yeah, doesn't matter what it is, but you can really like mess with you in different ways. And you do okay. Hello, hello. All right. I think I'm messing this up. I just probably gonna cover my face there, but it's not about that. It's not about me showing my face on the stream. Yeah, I was almost gonna mess that up. Not today. So I think I'm gonna have to do like actually a proportion line there. Yeah. Sometimes this can be a fluid process, and sometimes it can be not the case. It depends on your state of mind, really. If you are dialed in, you can get through it quickly. Bro, I have a question. How much time do you spend drawing? Uh, you draw so well, and I want to draw like you. I like your style. I say hi from Chile. Hi. Um. Well, I've been drawing. So that's from Yolu Hermen. So you're asking how much time do I spend drawing? You mean per day or in general? Because uh, I've been drawing like most of my life. Ever since I can remember, I've been drawing. Like the first thing I started doing when I was growing up, it was definitely one of the first things was drawing, and the other thing was sculpting. So actually, if you ask my wife, she always says that she prefers me sculpting than drawing. But yeah, it's a matter of me trying to uh, improve myself. Uh, but to answer your question, I've been doing that for a really long time. So don't beat yourself up. I'm I am really all the time like questioning if I can actually draw, and I've been doing this for a really long time. So I would say that the more time you spend doing the the basics, like focus on the fundamentals, uh, the better. If that's not for you, because let's say for example, I wanted to also learn like an instrument at some point, like learn some music, and I'm not good with structure. So that's also a thing to consider about drawing, or the way you learn in particular. If you feel that you are good with structure, meaning that you, if you go to school, you can follow uh, what the teachers are asking of you, then fine. You can probably do like a more traditional approach towards drawing, and that probably will work for you. But sometimes that's not the case for everybody. So what I did was basically grab a bunch of paper and just drew all the time, like a stack of papers, like a whole stack of papers. And I would just draw and draw and draw and try to. I would look at a bunch of cartoons and try to replicate that. You can, if you're just starting out, you can also like trace over things. That also helps sometimes for some people, just to start to get an idea of how somebody, like you're basically, if when you're tracing as for practice, you're kind of like uh, engineering, uh, reverse engineering what the other person did. So that might be an approach that might help you to start. But if you wanna uh, like really get into this sort of thing, something that might help you as well might be to get a few. You can find them online, like a few anatomical books. There's some like anatomy for artists, that sort of thing. Or there are a lot of resources about um, like basic stuff about drawing, how to draw structure. Like it depends on how you want to approach it. You can start by just trying to replicate an image, like what I'm doing right here. That's usually how people start. But you can also like, oh, I'm gonna try to draw, I don't know, a pyramid, and you can do that sort of as a starting point. So this would be the structured version of learning how to draw. If you're drawing like basic shapes to begin with, and try to shade them in the most simple way you can. What you do after is that you can start to combine them into different things. So if you're gonna draw a face, let's say this is a face, so it would be oh, I'm gonna draw sort of like a box. Maybe it can be sort of, these lines are horrible. Anyway, you can draw sort of like a box. Then the nose would be like a pyramid, or similar to a pyramid. Uh, the eyes would be cut into the face, sort of thing. Um, the mouth can be just a line. This could be like a small cylinder, and that can give you kind of an idea of what I'm saying about combining the basic shapes into stuff that are more complex. What that allows you to do is that in your brain you start to put together um, ways into how to break down a complex image and be able to represent it into D. I don't know if what I just dropped on you is it's too much information, but hopefully you might find it useful. Um, so I don't know if that answered your question, but basically, if you put in enough mileage and take the fundamentals, you can over time you can get better and not focus on the point where you're at right now. You just have to keep going, which I think most people they try to draw something. Oh, it doesn't look the way I want it. I'm horrible at this, so I'm not gonna draw anymore. That's actually ah yeah, no worries. Yeah, feel free to ask if you have any questions in the future about that stuff. That's part of why I'm doing this sort of thing. Um, so what I was saying is that sometimes it's hello, hi, capybara con smoking, hi. So uh, I lost my train of thought. Sorry, it's late for me. I should be sleeping, but yeah, I'm doing this instead. This is the time I have to do this. So I was saying that for drawing, often what happens to people is that they draw something they don't like, or somebody tells them, "Oh, that drawing was horrible." When they're growing up, like by the time you grow up, you already left that behind you a long time ago. So it can happen that you really like to draw, or you like to draw when you were little, and for whatever reason you felt like you weren't good enough or some stuff like that, and people just stop doing the activities that they like. The thing was that I was basically obsessed with this, so I just kept going. So for anyone that might think that this is like beyond uh, their possibilities, like to draw something that you're just looking at, let me tell you that it's not rocket science, definitely, and anybody can get better at drawing. It just takes a lot of time to get to it. So, right, hello. uh, let's see. I think I'm just gonna turn the page right now. See, I messed up. I squashed the face. Damn, it's kind of squash. It doesn't look that bad on the. The thing is that it's cropped. Actually, the head, I think it gets like to somewhere like that. These creatures have a lot of hair. So I think that it would continue. Like, I'm just making that part of the information up. Alright. As far as I know, the reason why they have uh, that black that black line around the eyes is sort of like their glasses or sun goggles. If that makes sense, but they take away the glare that can get into the eye, so it protects their eyes. Actually, apparently that's the reason why um, Egyptians supposedly use like eyeliner. That's the same idea, and also like baseball players that they put the black lines, or people that are doing like outside sports, they put like a black liner. That's that's the reason they're trying to remove the reflection from their eyes. At least that's what I've heard, seen it used. So another part of drawing, I would say, is that is the least spoken is research, or not not drawing itself, but the part that most people don't see is that you're also like, if you're into this sort of thing, you're also kind of obsessed with learning. So you're always trying to learn new things. I definitely am always trying to learn new things. That, I think, keeps you healthy in a lot of ways. So if you're doing like I did this deck of cards to do that, because each card is different. I I did my research to the extent that I could. I wouldn't say like I did like a full on study for each of the themes, but that's something that someone that is interested in the field should consider, because it's part of the job. Like, the better you know the subject matter, the better you're able to represent it, and the more connected you feel to it. It's really interesting. Um, in my case, I really like animals, so that's why I a lot of the times I draw them. I also like to draw portraits, but I I feel like I'm not that great at it sometimes. So I just and they're also super stressful to do, because you're always trying to get them right, like to make them so they look exactly how they how the original looks. So let's see. I think that's looking cool. So as you can see, the image, this part of the ear, it's covered, but I'm trying to represent what is there, because I might not do the like covering that maybe later for the last part of the sketch. Just gonna go for the. I think the structure is already there, so I'm gonna try to do the the markings, the stripes. I'm not 100% sure, but as I understand it, these tigers, I think the Bengala tigers. I don't know. There's one. There's two types of tigers. There are this kind of tiger. One of them is, to my understanding, considerably larger than a lion. So they're like, when I was growing up, I had the idea that the lions were the greatest, the biggest like cat in the wild, but actually, apparently, it's tigers. Some tigers, at least. And there's actually a breed that they did in a few zoos that they where they mix lions and tigers. If you haven't seen those things, oh my god, that's a freak of nature, literally. Gigantic. And I think I cannot recall because the last time I went to one of the zoos where they had them, I cannot recall exactly information, but I believe they have sort of like health issues, and they just don't stop growing for whatever reason, genetic reason, uh, which is bad for them, but they're really impressive. It's also really sad that they just keep them in a like contained area, but like we cannot we cannot fully coexist near them, even though they. Anyways, if you have enough space for them, they don't want to be around us. So I think conservation is really important. I want to start. Yeah, no worries. Um, if you want to start drawing more frequently, just get a sketchbook. Get a sketchbook or get a stack of papers, and you can go to a printing place so they can like I don't know the translation for that, like basically turn it into a simple notebook, if that's the option you have available for you. That's kind of on a budget, but if you're able to buy a sketch, by all means, you don't have to get a fancy one. You can just get something that is fairly cheap, because the idea is that if you want to remove friction from what you want to do. You want to draw more? Well, you need to make it easy for you to do it as often as you can. So I bought these sketches for this. Thank you, man. So I bought the sketchbooks for this purpose, but uh, if I weren't doing this stuff, I would still have. I have a bunch of other sketches. Like I have this one right now that I'm using, but I also have like I have another one that I have that has a bunch of other stuff like ideas, and see what I was saying about like demoing, practicing different things. Um, so yeah, this one's not full yet of this sort of thing. So yeah, I keep sketches. I have a bunch of sketches, sketchbooks laying around. Uh, you could draw. I don't know. I don't know who that is or what that is, but I'll consider it. I'll look it up. Yeah, I really don't know what that is, man. Well, thank you for the suggestion. I'll look it up. Um, Actually, this is a suggestion for from two people that wrote on one of my posts that they were telling me to draw cats. So yeah, I just took the liberty to draw this. It's not. This is the kind of cat that I would like to be drawing. They're so interesting creatures. Oh, okay. I think I know that manga. Yeah, I think that's a manga, right? I think. I'm gonna look that up. Give me a second. Uh, I think I already saw it. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw that show. Which one is that one? Hmm. Okay, I'll consider it. That looks interesting. I'm also trying to not get like too much into fan art, but yeah, I can probably try to do like my own take on it. I've done that in the past, so I don't know if successful, but I did like Luffy. I did. I think one of the like. I think it was. There's one that is like a meme online. This guy that has a sword. I did a few. I think I did like Sailor Moon. One Sailor Moon, but like with my own style. Okay. Right. Yeah. Kind of like where this is going. This might not be following the not exact. It's not a one to one to what I can see on the image. See, I already saw an error there. Just gonna add, just gonna make up some information there. Thanks, man. Yeah. Uh, no worries. decent enough. Probably gonna start shading. I mentioned this before. You can. Okay. Okay. Worries. All right. I mentioned this before, but you can actually get the this technique using just a pen. You can get it to hyper realism if you want. You just have to be mindful of how you're approaching it, and basically if you want to do hyper realism, you just make like super tiny circles. That's the whole trick for it. Just, I don't know if that makes any sense, but you do super tiny circles and just shade with that. And when you look at it up close, see, I don't know if you can even see that because this camera doesn't goes out of focus, but you can barely notice the separation or lines there. If that makes any sense, but yeah, that's the whole trick for hyperrealism. Doesn't matter the technique. For most of the techniques that you do, it can be crayons, it could be a pencil, it can be like this pen, as I'm doing right now. If you do really small circles, you can uh, get like really cool details and be really subtle with it. In this case, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just demoing stuff, but I could if I wanted to. Like, it just takes a long time to do. Well, I guess maybe if I try it now, it wouldn't take me as long as the few times I did it when I was still studying. It takes a considerable amount of time and effort to do those techniques. They look awesome. They look freaking awesome, but it just take too much time. Too much time. And I guess I'm impatient too. Like I want that's the other reason why I do this sort of thing, because that's the idea of spending like 3, 4, 5 days in a piece. That's to me that's dreadful. Unless it's like a Magnus opus or something like, oh, this I love it so much that I want to spend months on it. If that's the case, fine. Like Mona Lisa and a bunch of like traditional stuff you study in school or that you can see in museums. Those things, those paintings took years to do a lot of the times. Like, oh, this artist spent 4 years painting this. yeah, like if you're just doing one painting 4 years doing that, then when you look at it up close, that thing just looks incredible. But most people, especially in this day and age, don't have that kind of time to spend doing that sort of thing. Eh, it's kind of funny. All right, kind of finish, but not perfect. So I'm fairly happy with how this looks. Just gonna try to. Here we go. Da-ba-bow. Cha-ba-bow. All right. Yeah. Let's go in for the shading. If you're doing cross hatching, one thing I can tell you is if you follow the direction, in this case like I'm doing the hair on the tiger, try to follow the direction. It's gonna look way better. You can mix it up and just add texture on top of that, but it helps your sketch or your drawing to follow the direction, if it makes any sense whatsoever. I'm really hoping that at some point I can do this streams at a different time zone, so more people can enjoy them properly. I don't know if this is the best time to do this because by this point I'm already like lower energy, but at the same time I've always uh, been inclined to go to bed later, and growing up it was common for me to draw and maybe watch a movie, or maybe I'm not watching the movie, I'm just like I have it playing in the background, so sort of like to keep me company and just to, I guess, sort of as a meditation of sorts. There's definitely a lot of uh, investigations or studies into the therapeutic effects of drawing or painting in general. They use it a lot for um, therapy for people. There's something about it that helps people relax and just enjoy the moment. I I guess part of it is because you're trying to achieve something difficult, so it needs your concentration, so you cannot be focusing on other stuff while you're at it. So that's might be one of the things. Couldn't couldn't tell you 100% if that's the reason, but I can speak from experience that it definitely has helped me go through different things in my life. Mm. Just notice a mistake. It's just how this is. Just gotta accept the fact that it's never gonna be perfect. Just what? No, no. Mm, like that? Come on. Contrast? No, that looks a little bit better, but not that convinced. I think I messed up the eyes. Yeah. No, it's decent enough. All right. So ah, I forgot to put this back here. I don't want to mess up the next page, so that's something to consider for me. Hmm. So go for it for this. Just ignoring the details on that. I mentioned multiple times before on the streams that often you want to condense details. You don't want to do every single detail on a drawing all the time. Sometimes you want to add detail, but you can manage it. Like how much detail you want to add to something. Pow, 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 pow. And something like this. All right. So I think this is decent. It's not perfect, but it's not meant to be perfect. I just want to do the best drawing I can. And that's also something, if you want to start drawing, you just have to let it go. Let it go. Just grab whatever tool you want to, grab a piece of paper, and just draw something. Oh, it doesn't look good? You can throw it away. You don't have to keep every single drawing you do. I certainly don't. Sometimes I just get rid of it. Sometimes I just keep it around, just to let myself know. Yeah, you think you're doing well. Well, look at this horrible thing you drew. Eh, it just helps you kind of like see the progression. We all have bad drawings within us. Doesn't matter. That's something. Uh, One of my teachers used to say, like, it doesn't matter who you are. You're gonna have bad drawings, and the more you draw, the more you remove those bad drawings from your arsenal in some way. Like you're purging every time you draw. You're purging a bad drawing. You're not gonna have that bad drawing anymore. So you already got it out of your system in a way. So yeah, it's a very real thing that you are sort of like caught up in. Oh, I'm gonna draw something that I'm not gonna like, so I'm just not gonna draw, and that's the trap that we fall into. I'm convinced that people stop drawing because of that, and I believe that anybody can benefit from drawing. Definitely is something that helps with a bunch of other things. Life is often about balance, so finding that balance is an art in it of itself. Hmm. Also, something that will help you if you want to do this sort of thing and you're trying to shade a drawing. If you squint your eyes, I've mentioned this multiple times. If you squint your eyes, you can sort of get an idea of which points in the image need contrast. Hmm. Okay. I also like how expressive these creatures are. I'm pretty sure they're way smarter than we give them credit for. I certainly know I am. Um, okay. And also, like, often it's common for artists or just beginners to have a lot of sort of like insecurities and self doubt. Like, oh, I'm never gonna get to however point you think you would like to get to. Just don't focus on that. You can definitely do that. Like anybody, I'm convinced I've mentioned this to other people, and they look at me sometimes like I have an eye in the middle of my forehead. That I'm convinced that anyone can get to a really good point doing art. You just have to put in the hours. It's not easy. It's not easy. This stuff is not easy. Now with the rise of AI, oh, I can prompt something and an image pops up. Yeah, that thing wouldn't these companies wouldn't have anything if it wasn't for all the amazing artists that have created amazing work for thousands of years. They wouldn't have anything. Uh, I would like to see their training data if you remove all the work from from artists all over the world. They probably have like nothing. Like if let's say you remove also images, like what are you left with? Good luck training artificial intelligence with just prompts that you're just oh, what I was trying to say is like basically you would have to an ethical version of this would be I've heard uh, some people way more into this sort of thing than me. An ethical version of this would be if they train it like you pay the artists that they're gonna use their work to train the thing with uh, a really considerable amount to be able to use their work in that regard. That might be an ethical way to do it, but they just they just want to take it like I want to take all the work, all the credit, and not I'm not giving you anything. It's just I don't know. My point is that art has never been easy. You really have to put in the hours. But if you really like it, you can get better at it. You don't have to be prompting stuff. Definitely you can oh that's a wonderful image, but Yeah, it's not even close to what you get when you actually do the thing for yourself. Not even close. And it's a form of expression. I think us and a few other animals are the only ones that, at least as far as we know, create art. Uh, if you count, like, there's some form of fish that create like shapes, like perfect shapes with sand underwater. I guess you could consider that art. Penguins, when they're trying to find mates, they make this piles of rocks that they selected piece by piece and carefully put together. I guess birds in general, so that there's a bunch of them that do that kind of behavior. They build really intricate stuff to try to attract mates. So beyond a few examples in nature, as far as we know, we're the only creatures that generate art as a way of communication. And I've heard recently from, I think it was Star Talk, that Neil deGrasse Tyson was talking to a scientist, and the scientist was telling him that apparently we were, before we started talking to each other, that we were musicians, um, or at least we communicated with music before we ever got to talk. So we have, at least the guy who was talking to him believed that we have sort of this part of our brain that is really meant to deal with music. So we're really attuned with music. And there's some people that believe that it's like the the voice of the universe, or what connects everything. Like music is math, and you can find math in a bunch of things. So it's kind of like the pattern behind everything. So if you listen to me ramble about this, I believe that art has something connected to it, like drawing, painting, um, sculpting, whatever you're doing. I think you're connecting to something that's beyond our comprehension in some way. Let me check something here. This app, yeah. Anyhow, hmm. Okay, kind of dig how this looks. Hello, welcome. Hi. Oh, that hurt. Yeah. Don't get carpal tunnel, kids. Not no bueno. Yeah, I like how this looks. It's not. I don't think I got the. See where I mess up? I think there you go. I like that better. Yeah, I think that works better. It's not perfect. I know it's not perfect, but it's mine. I made this. Yeah. Okay. Uh, now, let's see if I can change this. This is, I would say, the most fun part. Let's change this stuff. Bow, chicka, bow, bow. Oh, I'm a bow, 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 bow. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it that much. Now looking at it again, I need to. I really need to. Hi. I really need to consider the structures for drawings more. Just don't do that all the time. Thank you. Thank you. I was just complaining to myself about about it. Just doing my mini rant about it. There's some measurements that are off, and I didn't notice it before. Thanks. All right. Like now looking at it from the camera, from another camera, which is something I mentioned that if you change the angles on the drawing, you can sort of see where your eye is kind of getting used to a mistake. It's not that bad, but yeah, thank you. Uh, but it's just like that monologue is what I do all the time when I'm drawing. Like you're making small decisions uh, all the time. Like, oh, this is a little bit off. This is a little bit to the right or to the left, or this should be this way, or this should be that way. So just like speaking out loud about about it, but I would be surprised if all of the people that create art don't have a version of that monologue that that I've been talking about all this time doing this stream. All right, let's just go for the fun part of this. Well, I've been doing this. I'm 36. I've been doing this ever since like I was, I don't know, 3 years old or something. Four. But like more professionally, uh, like 2009 was when I graduated as an illustrator. Uh, but yeah, this is definitely something that I've been doing for a really long time. If you are interested in art and you want to start drawing, don't feel discouraged. Anybody can improve. Can tell you that much. I definitely didn't draw like this when I was starting out, and I still get. Is it one of your favorite hobbies? Yeah, like basically my hobby is what I decided to pursue as a career, I guess. Even though I also professionally did other things, um, like animation, motion graphics, and a bunch of other things. 3D animation, 3D modeling. Um, but yeah, art is in general is I would say my passion. I wouldn't recommend it to most people because it's just it's not it's not an easy path, but it can be rewarding as well. So I couldn't. I've heard this multiple times. I couldn't recommend people pursuing art professionally and feel good about it without telling them that it's also rough out there, and you unless you have Patreons. Oh, thank you. I made a deck of cards. That's actually something that I've mentioned in in a bunch of my videos. But I've considered that. I don't think I'm that great at that part of the whole thing because that's also like storytelling. You have to you're basically like making a movie, really in a way. You're telling a story, a full-fledged story. So there's it's actually when people like Marvel and those companies have like huge um, comic books. Oftentimes is the writer, like the person who comes up with the story, and on the other side you have the actual artist or illustrator. So it's a thing that people often do in tandem. Although, to be fair, there's also a bunch of people that do like comics on their own, and they do their own stories. And maybe I have an idea for uh, a short animation, but I think it's too um, ambitious for just one person. Even though maybe I'll pursue that. That's pretty sure if I do that, that's like a 2 year commitment or something. Uh, I kind of wrote the story for it and stuff. It's like kind of like a cyberpunk in a short film. Okay. Yeah, it yeah, exactly. You take sometimes you take something from your own life. Sometimes you take that and combine it with a part of history, or you project it into the future, or you're using experiences from other people and just mixing it up. Yeah, it's just a kind of preference, I guess, for some artists to do uh, comic books. I I tried to do a few when I was studying, but it just I couldn't I couldn't get the like a decent enough story that I would like because I'm really self critical. Yeah, yeah. I'm actually streaming in multiple platforms, but yeah, for the most part, oftentimes it's at least up to now. It's not that many people. They come and go. They come. They check out the stream. They look at what I'm doing. Sometimes say hi, and they just keep going. I'm also doing like I think I already passed my yeah. I'm way past the my time frame. I'm usually doing like an hour. Like this time, yeah, that could be yeah. You mean like the 3 panel thing, that sort of thing? Yeah, I thought of that. For I have a character that I really like. I've I showed it multiple times. Um, and I thought of making it sort of like about his life and mixing in my own experiences into it. It just I don't know. It takes a level of commitment to do that. Like if you start doing it, uh, at least in my mind, you start doing it, you have to just keep at it and keep at it and keep at it and make it bigger and better and yeah, yeah, I did. It's my own take on a capybara, on a chihuire. Okay, I think this like not perfect, but gets the idea across. Let's see if I can. Yeah, looks a little bit better. would be awesome. I don't have those. I think they're back home. Maybe I'll see if I can find a few. Like from really when I was really young. Some of them are just lost. I don't have them. But yeah. What's the highlighter for? I just to make it pop. It's a matter of choice, I guess, and um, preference, static preferences. Static. So yeah, I think I like the way this looks. Let's see if I'll add a little bit more here. Yeah, it's kind of after you've been doing this for quite some time, you start to or try to incorporate things that kind of build your style, your own style of doing things, and it's just like a mixture of things that you find appealing or that have influenced you. It can be different things. It can be anything. Do um yeah, you could say that. You can definitely say that. Uh, I've I've done not all the time, but I definitely done professional work, illustration work. I worked a lot in advertising, so sometimes clients want an illustration, and I would do that work for them. And sometimes people reached out and, oh, I want this and that, and you make an illustration for them. I freelanced as an illustrator, and ah, thank you. Oftentimes, what I found myself doing was more on the animation side of things and motion graphics, but my profession to begin with was always illustration. So I'm trying to reconnect to this way more than what I've done in the past, because once you start getting good at kind of like the things that surround your main thing, then you start getting more jobs around that. So yeah, it's kind of like you get caught in that, just doing something that is really close to what you want to be doing, but not 100%. I did like a 3D animation, 3D animated short when I was studying visual effects. I don't know if I particularly like it right now, because it's been so long. But you can see it on my channel. I also have a few well, a few, like a couple animations on my website that I did for clients, and yeah, for clients. Those are the other ones I have there. But yeah, been doing this for a long time. uh, yeah, I went too overboard with this one. This is too much time. The wooden capybara. It's my look wouldn't, but it this is like polymer clay, I think is the name in English. Um, you can basically bake it. If you don't know the material, it's awesome. If you get your hands on it, you're not gonna want to use anything else because you can build something and then you just bake it and just stays like that. You have your own mini sculpture. So yeah, Super Sculpey is the name. If you wanna look it up, it's really cool. Right, not perfect, not perfect, my friend, but thank you. Appreciate it. Um, all right. What should I add? I don't know if I want to add anything else. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It looks odd on the. Why do I do this? Why do I do this to myself? Come on. Should just left it as it was. Probably. Hmm. Hmm. Something about it's not convincing me. Should just focus on the structure. That's probably it. This right here. Spectacle bear. Yeah, it's really cool. That creature is awesome. Let's see. I don't know. I'm not that convinced about certain things on the drawing. Hmm, I fixed it a bit. Yeah, it was something with the angle of the eye that didn't quite like. Probably this should go a little bit more. Yeah, I do. Sí, hablo español también. I just do content in English for my social media, but yeah, I I like it a little bit better now. It's not perfect. Yeah, this is one of those things. I don't know. Not 100% on this drawing. Not anymore. Take it or leave it. Just gonna turn the light. See if this convinces me. Just looking at it through the light to see how many mistakes I made. How long did you speak it for? What do you mean, English or Spanish or uh, natively? I'm Spanish speaking, but I've been speaking English really long, for a really long time. Like probably since I was 12, 11, 12. Yeah, around that time. So really long time. Before that, I was just speaking Spanish. Yeah, I messed up the measurements, but it doesn't look that bad. All things considered. Alright, anyhow. Just gonna sign this. Cartoon drawings. You mean like animation, that sort of thing? Like 2D animation. That I have done a little bit, but not that much. Thank you, thank you, appreciate it. So if you saw my stream, if you're looking at this in the future, thank you for watching. Hopefully, you may join in the future to one of my streams. Uh, it's not perfect what I drew today, but uh, yeah, the idea is just to get something done by the end. So if you decided to join, thank you for watching. Consider subscribing, that helps me a bunch. And yeah, you can check out my social media for all my different projects. I have my illustrated deck of cards, which is available on my website. I'm probably gonna cut the stream in a bit. So thank you if you join. And until next time, thank you for joining. Uh, bye.